Of course I will. You don't. Could you hear that conversation?
Chris is making me doubt myself again.
The fucker has a way of making me doubt myself.
Only when it's either going to be funny or I truly think you're wrong.
and that's agreeable. I'm used to it. So, you already know that we have a German follower.
Yes.
Whether it's a misclick or what have you, we at least...
I take it as a German fan.
Exactly. It's nice to know that, we have people listening outside of the United States. So
we're international.
We are. It was very quick, all 7 of our followers. Our estimated audience is 7 people, but what I found was interesting and kind of wanted to point out, that there are obviously 41%, well, not obviously, but there's obviously followers in Vermont, but it's only 41%. We actually have 20% from Massachusetts, 12% from Washington, 11% from Texas, 6% of our following is from Ohio, 4% is from New Jersey, 1% from Missouri, and 1% from Minnesota. So
we are just across the U.S.
Yeah, and this is the bone I have to pick with you because it's bringing back bad memories. According to this, our followers are 100% female in the age group of 23 to 27. Now, I know they're not coming to listen to me. Brings back bad memories of Wednesday.
That was a very long time ago.
Yes, it was. A good 20.
We do not need to bring that up.
No, we're bringing it up. I'm bringing it up right now. So, for those of you who don't know the Wednesday story, Chris and I are with our, friends, and I think you were married to Trisha at this point.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, because you were, 20. We're going on 25 years now. So, less than that ago, we were at a bar, Metronome, upstairs, and the girls like to dance, and Chris and I don't. So. We were kind of hanging off to the side, just watching the girls have fun. And
now,
the important point of this story is I was not with anyone at that point.
Well, that is a point. The other point is it was hotter than hell in there.
Was it?
Yes.
I remember.
So it was like September, October, and they had the windows cracked, but not near enough.
Yeah.
And it was so hot, which is why we were hanging out by the water cooler.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we were by the water cooler, and we referred to her as Drunk Wednesday because she looked like Wednesday from the Addams Family.
Just grown up. Let's be clear.
No judgment. Just that's how we remember her. And she stumbles over and gets, a drink of water. And
stumble might be a bit much. Come on.
No, I think it was a pretty good stumble there. And Chris is to my right, which is closest to the water cooler, and
I was thirsty.
Closer to the stage. And Wednesday gets her drink and slowly kind of looks at Chris and all doughy-eyed, and she's like, "Are you here with anyone?" And Chris is like, "Yes, my wife." Wednesday turns and walks right by me and keeps going. Chop liver. So I can see Tupa Talks none the different. Everybody gonna watch you, and what's that other guy you tell me?
I highly doubt that is the reason.
Yeah, because in all seriousness, I know these statistics are skewed because there's no way that's the demographic that's listening to us, for one. And two, I know in particular, some of our friends have been listening before they started watching on YouTube.
Yes.
So I know that age group is not quite right.
Oh, there you go again. Now you're calling them old. First,
No.
if I recall, you called our friend stupid. Now you're calling him old.
Hold him stupid, just like me.
You're just making friends all over the
I
place.
am. Oh, I think I just saw somebody unsubscribe.
Maybe 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Yeah.
We'll be down to 4 before you're done.
So I figured you'd enjoy those statistics. I'm actually assuming the states that were listed were pretty well accurate. So thank you for anybody who's listening outside of Vermont. Thank you for who's listening inside of Vermont. We just didn't figure we'd reach that far yet.
Yeah, ever.
Well, hey, so good segue. We had a really good guest this week.
Amazing.
Yes. Oh my God. So as you can see by my backdrop says the Heath Show. We won't go into too many details because obviously you're going to watch the show, but he was
Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, he was an amazing guest, wasn't he? I mean, so down to earth,
love
so
Heath,
friendly, just told really great stories, and I think you as the audience are really going to enjoy this episode.
And wait for it. Jerry was actually speechless through part of it.
No, Chris just hogged the conversation. Oh, Star Wars this, Star Wars that. Did you see this? Yeah, it is. Heath calls me out and tells me this. You'll hear it. It's funny. So, yeah, Chris monopolized the Star Wars conversation and kind of threw me a bone at once. Oh, Jerry, tell him this story. Oh, I get to talk now. Thank you. No, but we're really excited to get this out there. It was so much fun. You want to see who's coming up in the future, check out our website, www.tupatalkpodcast.com. There's also just www.tupatalk.com if you want the shorter version. Also on Facebook at Tupatalk Podcast, so you can find us there. Trying to keep it the same. But
sensing a theme here.
Yes. So follow us on YouTube. You can listen to us if you're watching on YouTube now. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast player. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. There's a bunch of them. I don't even know all of them, and I know we're on them. So anyway, we're really excited to bring this episode to you. Please enjoy, and we'll talk to you later. Heath, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, trying to get my camera to go.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, nice backdrop.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. I have the same one above my bed. I don't know how to send my, there, start video. There we go.
Yeah,
Allow.
there should be a little camera symbol.
Got it.
There he is.
Oh!
Hey, that is awesome. That's just right? That's not real?
Yeah, no, it's all backdrop. It's my eBay favorites page I have put up.
That's so awesome.
How are you guys?
I am well.
Awesome. How are you?
Just trying to get by, man. Just trying to
like
figure
everybody
this
else.
It's ridiculous. Hey, nice stuff back there. Look at that.
Yeah, a little bit of a Star Wars geek, so.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
You got to show
Vaderstein. Yeah.
You got to. Chris has got a couple things to show you. You want to show him now?
Yeah, we can give that a whirl.
Save it for the air. Save it for the air.
Because that'll be more funny because I'll probably trip on my way around the show.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Now,
can you hear me okay with this? This is okay with just my...
Absolutely. Yeah. I can hear you fine.
Great.
Excellent.
Perfect.
So, hi, Tupid.
Hey, Tupid.
So we have a special guest with us tonight, and I don't relish saying this is our first famous guest.
Wait, who's on? This is going to be awesome.
He's coming later,
Yeah.
You'll get to meet him. You'll like him. He's a great guy.
Fantastic.
Very funny. Yeah.
But Heath is joining us because we decided we were going to talk about cruises, Star Wars. Disney had a Star Wars Day at Sea, and we really enjoyed your show. It was amazing. We saw you back in 2014, and you had us in tears.
It was amazing.
Laughing so hard. I swear the audience was like shushing us because we were like 3 or 4 rows from the front of the stage, and you just had us in tears. I mean, you have lived with us ever since that first showing.
They make
And
it creepy.
yeah. Oh, it's getting creepy.
Yeah. No, there was something that we did that you said you would always. What was the joke we always? Somebody, one of you guys told me that, like that you would say it over and over. I don't remember what it was.
Oh my God. Every time my wife and I are watching a TV show, if I'm fumbling with the remotes to hit play, she's like, have a square, Carol.
Yeah. Yes, that was it.
It's become our lingo.
I knew that was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole cruise, we were mimicking you. I mean, Chris and I, just for a background for you, we've been friends for 40 years. Wow. And we have a lot of history together. We grew up in the 80s watching.
Good and bad.
So we parrot everything from the 80s that was a classic line of movies. So that's
totally.
That's what we do. So you have been added to our repertoire.
I love it. That's very classic. I love that.
What he didn't tell you, Heath, is I think he's got the same picture over his bed too.
Yeah, that's his bedroom.
Yeah, but Kathy asked me to put it there.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah, no, we are extremely humbled to have you on our quaint little podcast. This is awesome.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
No, this is great. So how long have you been performing your show?
God, well, my first time ever on stage, I was in the university. I was at Auburn University, and I was a theater major. And they had a competition on campus, and it said, "Are you funny?" was the only thing in the school newspaper. And I was like, "Oh, I think I could do this." And my acting teacher at the time said, "Oh, you should totally try it." And I tried it. And it was, I think there were 13 people that auditioned, and we got to do it in front of all the student, like the big union, full union student body, if you will. And there was a good crowd, probably like 400 people there, because they wanted to come and, see these kids try to do stand-up. And I won. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And it was weird because the first prize was an audition at the Birmingham Comedy Club, where I'm from. And that was in 1992, 93.
Oh my God.
And I went to the comedy club and did the same little shtick for 5 minutes. And the owner of the club, now this is kind of dating me because back in 93, he said, come with me. And he said, I've never seen anyone do that kind of stuff on stage their first time. Do you want to work the rest of your life doing this? And I was like, sure. That's a great idea. And
sounds like fun.
To be fair, yeah, everybody wanted, like all managers or club people wanted their own, like a Carrot Top was huge at the time. And I was prop heavy, still am, prop heavy act. And so he just said, oh, this would be great. And that's how it started in 1993. And that was that was it. I started right when I graduated Auburn. I started doing stand-up at the Birmingham Comedy Club. Yeah. And just kind of spiraling toward death. No, spiraling toward, like it would be Birmingham, and then you would do Huntsville, and then as a comedian, then you'd go around and branch out to Atlanta, Mississippi, Florida, and the spiral gets bigger and bigger. Virginia, you go up there to the Comedy Zones up there, I think it is. Like all these kind of places, and do the show, Funny Bone, rather. Yeah.
Yep. Have you done the comedy? Sorry, Chris. Have you done the Comedy Store in LA?
Oh yeah, this is when I it's very fun. Have you seen the documentary?
I haven't.
It's wonderful. It's everything I did for years. So to back up, when I was starting stand up, I was very different at the time. People had not seen kind of this goofy kid from the South doing these things, these characters. And I went out to Los Angeles just to go see what it was like. And I took Bruce, the owner of the Birmingham Comedy Club. He was my manager. And we went out there, and I was going to do my set on the Comedy Store stage. And there were some agencies coming to see me because they're like, this kid's coming from Alabama and you got to come see him. And you're very weird. In 1995, I think. And so I'd only been doing it 3 years, if that, 2 years. And I went up on stage, and right before I went up on stage, the matriarch of the Comedy Store is Mitzi Shore. This is actually Paulie's mother. I don't know if you can put that together. Paulie's mother is Mitzi Shore, and she was. If you see the documentary on Showtime, it's wonderful. But she kind of is the godmother of all comedy, I would say, in the world. I mean, if she anointed you, you're like, thank you. I've kind of made it. And so I was this kid, and I saw Paulie sitting beside her in the room, in the back of the room, and she came to kind of sit and watch. And she had this voice like this. That's how she talked, this whiny voice. Everyone does an impression of her. And she almost sounds like Louis Anderson, which is funny. No, really. No, he says that too. It's what's so funny. And I was waiting to go on, and they were like, this new guy's going to go on, Heath. How much time's he doing? And I hear this, because she doesn't have a church voice. She's the owner. And they go, he has 10 minutes. And she goes, tell him he's got 5. Now they're about to introduce me, and I've already planned music and characters. Right. And you guys have seen my show. If you haven't, it's very involved, and there's cues and all this. So I go, okay. And I hear that, and they go, she wants you to do 5, but just if you got them going, keep going. I was like, all right. They introduced me, and I went up, and I'm on the Comedy Store stage, and I just started rapid fire. And it was a great set. Like, I really did great. I was so happy. And I came off, people are high-fiving. I'm like, yeah. And she grabbed me, and Paulie's sitting beside her. She grabbed me. She said, she goes, come back. You can do the main room. Like that, which is like immediately I was passed as a comedian on my first time. I'm like, whoa. And immediately Paulie grabbed me and goes, come back. You can do the main room. He said it just like her. So that was kind of my Comedy Store anointment. Was the first time I was anointed as a paid regular, which was crazy at the time. And then people, Heath is a regular. Heath is a regular. I'm like, what does that mean? And I wasn't even living. I wasn't even living in Los Angeles at the time. I was visiting. Yep. And so then I had one thing led to another, and William Morris was one of the agencies there. They said, we'll send you on an audition tomorrow if you want to. Okay. So the audition was for a sketch comedy show that Roseanne Barr was putting together to basically rival Saturday Night Live back in 95. It was called Saturday Night Special. Oh. And I auditioned the next day at the casting in Fox, and the casting director said, can you come to a callback? I was like, sure. And I flew home, and then I flew back out for a callback of all things. And Roseanne was there in the room. Now I'm still living with my parents in Birmingham. I just graduated Auburn. I was on the road doing stand-up, and Roseanne's in the room. This is just crazy to even think about the story. And I do my characters, and Roseanne's kind of watching. It sounds like Mitzi. Oh, that's hilarious, And she's laughing. She goes, love it. And then she had me do some character work. And I said, oh, cool. And I was done with my audition. And she goes, congratulations, you got the job. You got to move here. And I went, what? And she goes, you're going to be on TV. Who's next? Like literally like that.
Just next.
And I walked out, and the casting director said, okay, come with me. And she got on the phone. She said, Roseanne just gave him the job. And the other actors are in the room, and they're waiting to go, and they go,
what about me?
I'm next. Have you guys ever heard of Todd Glass? He's a comedian.
No.
He's a really great guy, but he was in the room. He always tells that story about sitting there. Oh. He's next. And he's like, why am I going in? She just gave him the job. And so I flew back to Birmingham and packed up everything I owned and drove my car to Los Angeles. Wow. And the next week I was at a table read with Roseanne, and on the show was Jennifer Coolidge, who is she's most famous as being Stifler's mom on American Pie. That actress?
Okay,
yep. Yeah. Kathy Griffin, who's the redhead. Everybody knows Kathy Griffin. Laura Keitlinger, who was from Saturday Night Live at the time and a comedian. C.D. LeBeau, Carl LeBeau was a great, hilarious comic, who actually was one of the 3 of the Sam Kinison people. Him and Jimmy Schubert, and those guys are all legends. Bob Rubin, who's another actor, comedian, and Warren Hutchinson. And I'm just thrown into a table read like, all right, TV, we're going to be on TV Thursday. Like, that's how it happened.
No kidding.
Yeah. The funny part is I moved there. We do 6 episodes. And then they say, okay, we're not going to do any more of the show. And I'm like, what do you mean we're not doing? I'm here. And they go, yeah, that's how it goes. And I was like, no. I moved here to be on TV. Yeah, we did six episodes and it's over. And then I just thought, okay, well, now what do you do? What do you do? And that's how I ended up living in LA for 20 years. So
no kidding. That's
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
So
it
I'm
was one
curious,
of those great stories. Yeah.
When you did that first stand up at the college with like 400 people, were you stage fright at all, or was it very natural for you to just walk out there?
It's funny because I was already a theater major and I was I had done some acting, but never a microphone. And funny enough, as you guys probably did, you watch stand up, so or you watch comedy. You go, oh, I know how to do this. I mean, I knew. I knew what it was. Right. It wasn't foreign to me. Like, you hold the microphone and you do this, and you make sure that you make eye contact. So I knew the basic blueprint of how to do it, I guess, just by watching so many people. Yeah. But I didn't know what I was doing. And I think that ignorance was the best thing I had. Was just he'll just do it. He'll just go up there and go crazy. Yep. So yeah, that really helped. That was
not overthink it. Yeah, that's amazing.
And then when you start overthinking it, that's when you get into trouble, man. Yeah. That's when, So it's
that's my downfall.
Yeah, dude, and me too. I can't put something out there anymore without going, okay, what is this? What's someone going to say if they see? When I was 24, 25, and like, oh, let me just do it. It was so much better. Yeah. So that was kind of I'm sorry, that's a long story, but that's kind of the.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. We like long stories. Watch some of our podcasts.
Jerry's very vocal.
Okay. Great.
Chris has the I think gold medal for the shortest intro, and I have the gold medal for the longest intro.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, so together we kind of even each other out a little bit.
Yes.
I'll be like, hey, this is what we're talking about. Enjoy. He'd be like, come on, a little more. And then he'll be going on. I'll be like, a little less.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man, that's funny.
And we taunt the hell out of each other because we literally do our intros and our outros with both of us on the screen. And there was one episode where Chris kept starting over, and I'm like, oh, guess we're doing this again.
Yeah. I love it.
So where do people find you now? Obviously COVID is restricting everything right now, but are you strictly on cruise lines? I
don't know if you know, there are no more cruise lines.
Yes.
But no, what I did, it was funny when I was doing these clubs, a lot of people said, oh, you should do cruise ships. And I was like, oh, I'm not a cruise actor. They were like, yeah, you are. Like, you need to see what you're doing. But so I kind of just went into that because it was so much easier as a performer if you can get past the how do you change your show to be on a cruise ship, or how do you do that in front of people who are on a cruise? Once you can figure that part out and you can change it and you figure out a cruise audience, then you're thinking, why would I want to do anything else? Because number one, unless you are like a Dave Chappelle or somebody that can sell out a club, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been in a hotel and like say, we got to do radio tomorrow morning, and then you do your radio and you call the club. How many tickets did we sell? Well, we're going to do a 2-for-1 tonight. How many people are there? And you're doing this every night. You're doing a Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday, 2 show Friday, 2 show Saturday, and 1 show Sunday, in hopes to get all these people in. Yeah. On a cruise ship, they're trapped. They're going to say, well, I guess we'll go to the show. So that was such a better fit for, what I was doing. I just felt that. So it was mainly cruises. I'm actually, funny enough, there's a company called VidAngel that does, they do dry bar comedy, which is it's kind of like your own, for lack of a better word, HBO or Netflix special. Yep. And a lot of people have done it. And I did mine about 2 years ago. I think I shot it. And they set you up in this comedy club with a 4-camera shoot, and they let you direct it. So I was like, oh, fantastic. And then I didn't hear anything for 2 years. So I just got an email 2 days ago of one of my final edits. I've been watching to get that. And what they do is they put it on their server, and then people can kind of like iTunes and go and they can go and buy it for 99 cents and watch your comedy special. So that's cool, and I'm doing that. That'll be out soon, I hope. Like I said, it's been 2 years since I shot it, but yeah. So there, but no comedy clubs. I have not done virtual shows. I didn't want to do that. I'm like, it's not really. It's not what I do. I'm more of doing live things. It's just hard. I just want to get done.
Yeah, you feed off the energy of the audience.
Yes.
It's very obvious that the more into it the audience is, the more extreme you will go in your act to provide an entertaining show. And it's just amazing to see.
Yeah, and it's really hard to do a Zoom or something. We've done a handful of things here in Denver. My wife is also a performer, and so she's had with singing and stuff. So she's had a couple of things where I've just kind of introduced something, but not done any type of time. And we've actually had some things that have been booked, and then no, we're not going to do that. Everything's shut down again. So it gets so frustrating as far as, especially, and I'm a huge football fan, but you watch the Super Bowl, and my manager said, okay, so 25,000 people can get together outdoors to watch football, but 400 can't get together to hear someone sing or tell jokes. Yeah, and it's true. But
absolutely.
We're not bringing in at the local comedy club. You're not bringing in, a couple $1 million every time the doors open, but like a football game. I get it. But entertainment was the first to go and the last is going to come back. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Movie theaters, everything.
Yeah. Everything. We have one theater that I think's still open, and it's open like in the evenings and maybe a couple of shows on the weekend. But nothing else.
Yeah, and people have rented out theaters for their friends and family. Have you seen this? Yeah.
So, I've seen advertisements for, hey, rent the theater, but I'm like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I know. It's like, just you?
bring popcorn while you stare at the screen until they put something on.
I know. So who knows how this is going to shake out. Disney, I know that's where we met, so I'll mention that. Disney Cruise Line just got the word from Canada that Canada shut down their borders until for cruise ships till 2023, I think, or something. 2022. Yeah.
23. I saw your post.
Yeah. So we can't get to Alaska, and Skagway is going to be gone. I mean, did you guys go to Alaska cruise?
I haven't yet.
Yeah, it's so great, and Disney did it so right. But there's no way with Skagway is going to survive. That little beautiful, quaint little town. Yeah, all their money comes in the cruise season. They're going to take 2 years off. I don't know how you do that. I just don't know. So this Jones Act, which it was on my page, if anyone can find it, it's with the Jones Act. It's this archaic law that says you have to, if you're going to go to an American port, you have to dock in a foreign port first, and it's just. But you're going to say we have to adhere to that and destroy Alaska, basically, or even the Caribbean. Like they say you can't go out of. That's why you have to stop at those stops, because it's been around since like 1860 or something. The law was made. Is crazy, but anyway.
Yeah, we got a lot of those up in Vermont. There's a lot of those crazy laws that have never been taken off the books. It's just one of those weird things. But
a lot of trivia questions revolving around that. You hear them.
Yeah.
It's illegal to breathe underwater.
Right. Yes.
But so how many were you doing prior to COVID? Obviously, were you exclusively on Disney cruise ships? Okay.
Yeah, well, somewhat. Like I've done all of them. Practically. Okay. I love Disney because it's so up my alley, and it's what I do, and it's what I get, and the IP, the internet, intellectual property is so huge to pull from, and you can just say one thing about something, and they get the huge laughs. But yeah, I was doing mainly Disney because I loved it. I mean, you guys have been on. It's just it's great. Yeah. And so I did a ton of Disney, and when this COVID thing hit, I was booked. One cruise, I was every other week on the Disney Wonder from March until September.
Oh, wow.
And that was my gig. And March 8th, we were on my first one of the contract, and we went toward the Panama Canal with my wife, and my daughter came with me. And so we were getting off mid-cruise, or the first half, because they always replace guest entertainers.
Yep.
And so the first part of the cruise, we went from Canaveral, and we went down, and our first stop was wait, we did not do it from Canaveral. We did it from Miami. I apologize. Miami, and we went down to Grand Cayman,
Yep.
And we got off. We're like, we're going to stay in Cayman for 2 days or 2 or 3 days for a vacation. And then we'll go home because I had to fly back to San Diego to get on the ship the next week.
Right.
So we get off, and it's like, everybody's like, you've heard of this thing that's going around? And it was really weird. And we were in Grand Cayman, like, okay, well, maybe it won't get down here. So we stayed 2 days in Grand Cayman. The other act stayed on the ship, and everyone else who got off that day got back on the ship. That Disney Wonder was not allowed to debark anyone for 14 days after that. They sailed all the way through the Panama Canal without stopping. They had to stop for fuel, but no one could get off.
Right.
I got to go home. John Armstrong, who's a good friend of mine, he's a magician. He was on, and he was the only act because they couldn't bring anyone on. They couldn't let anyone off. So he was on for 14 more days. And he's a magician, thank God. So he had a lot to pull from. But yeah, we came home, and that was the last paycheck I got was March 8th. So they were like, sorry, we got to shut it down. And yeah, it was really weird. It was very surreal to think, okay, well, that was our year. That was everything. That was every other week. Yeah, that was how they did, and that was how they were going to try out the variety acts. Is go, everybody gets one ship, and you go week on, week off, week on, week off, week on, week off, and then it just kind of stopped. It completely stopped. So we'll see how they do it next, because that who knows how this is going to shake out. Like
they keep changing.
Yeah. And my show was very hands-on too, and so they were like, "You got to change all that." So everyone's trying to change, and
Well, Chris found out that I don't know if you saw it on the CDC or whatever, but they're putting new air ventilation systems in the ships to expedite the recirculation of air. Yeah. Right.
I saw that. Like we are very fortunate that my manager and representation, they have not had a paycheck either, but they still do every Wednesday. We do a big webinar, TAD management. They are just a godsend, and they tell what they've heard. And my manager there, she has been just with me since the start. Like she is just, Jan Stenning is her name, and she has done everything for me. And she stays on there and does the podcast and say, this is what we know. I mean, the webinar, this is what we know about Disney. This is what we know about Royal Caribbean. This is what we know about Norwegian. And this is who's shutting down. This is who's new. And this is what ports are shut down and all that. So yeah, every week we just log on and say, well, and they move it back, 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
Because if they said, we're not going to go to 2022, their stock is done. It's
yes. Yeah.
So they know.
Yeah. They're trying to, because how can you run a cruise company without having cruises, right? It just financially. So they're trying to stop the bleeding and hold on, and honestly, people want to hope, because like we love cruising and we can't wait to get back on one. But unfortunately, this is where we're at.
And we think if anybody's going to make it through this pandemic, it's going to be Disney, because they can be like, we can take a loss there. We'll just, money
up the prices over here. They're fortunate, but some of these it's even the towns that don't get hit with tourism dollars. Whoa. I mean, you guys know, you get, I mean, when you pulled in on the Fantasy, there are 3 other ships there, and they're all getting off to go spend money. Just awful. So we'll see how this shakes out. I think it'll come back. It won't be like it was, but it'll be something. So
I think you're right. It'll be some morphing of what we're used to versus what it's going to be. So but excellent. So now moving on to another topic near and dear to my heart, Star Wars.
Never heard of it. Was that, how many of the Star Wars cruises did you guys do?
We just did the one Star Wars cruise. Yeah.
Okay. But we've been on 2 different cruises together, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah. No. So we went on the original. It was me and my wife's 20th anniversary, where we first saw you.
2014.
Right. And then we went on the Star Wars cruise.
They
changed it. I'm still bitter about that.
Yeah.
It was originally marketed as a Star Wars cruise. And then within a month or 2 of sailing, it became a day at sea Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I went, what the hell was that?
Well, they did things throughout the week, but the one day, you would get the big. And when I first heard about this, I called them and I said, whatever it takes, you got to have me on. I said I want to be on. And what's so funny, and it was very telling. I said, I want to be on the first one. They said, why? Why don't you wait till we figure it out? They have so much they've got to figure out. Like this doesn't work, that works, this doesn't, this, and they really came around to figuring out what did work and what didn't, with the characters and the pool stuff. And so that was fun. It was really cool to. I mean, almost every Star Wars premiere, I think I've been on a ship. I tried to do it because I wanted to see it. This is the best. I'll tell you the best Star Wars Disney story. This isn't about Star Wars at Sea, but it is about Star Wars.
Yeah, that's fine.
When the Force Awakens came out, okay, I was on the Disney Wonder, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to see the premiere. It's going to be so great. You know, I'm a huge fan, obviously. And they say, okay, Heath. They call me in the office. They go, we don't have enough seats for everyone that wants to see the movie. And I'm staring at them like, okay. And they said, so what we're going to do is during the first big Walt Disney Theater screening of The Force Awakens, we're going to have you in the Rocket Bardie in Azure, you know, so that you can go to the smaller venue, the club, and do your show for family, like a family show. And I said, okay. And they go, and then during the second version, we're going to do a repeat show where you can do your family show. And I said, so let me just get this straight. I said, you're going to say to these people that are on this cruise and excited, I'm sorry, you can't see Star Wars tonight. However, down there's a comedian who's got a really, fun variety show that's going to be doing a variety show for you guys. So maybe you can enjoy that. I go, those are the people that I get? Like, we can't see Star Wars, but let's go see this jabroni. Is what So the first showing, okay, I'll do whatever. I said, at least I can see it because they're going to do it in the Walt Disney Theater. The Buena Vista Theater later. So I went down there and I was picking out my place, getting in the speakers. Like, I want to sit here because I want to see it this way. And that's where I want to sit. And I pick up my seat. So I go and do my first show, and after the show, I ran to my room. However, when I run to my room, they put the variety acts directly over the Walt Disney Theater speaker system. So your bed that's what it is, and you're hearing like, bum, 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 bum. And I'm just like, I'm holding my ears and everything. So then I said, thank you, good night. And I ran off stage and ran to my room, and I waited to my next show. I didn't look at anything, didn't watch TV, didn't answer the phone. Second show, run down there, do my second show, run to my room because I don't want people to say
right.
So then I say I get to go see the premiere now by myself, basically in the Buena Vista Theater. So I go down, I get my soda and I get my snacks, and I'm walking in, and they're letting out. And right when they are starting to let out, these two guys come out. It's probably you two. No, it's two like super fans like me. And he goes, well, what did you think about? And I put my fingers in my ears and I said, la, 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 la. And I ran and I pushed the button on the elevator with my elbow. And I went up to the soda machine. I was just standing like, and I waited till those guys were gone and went down and picked out my seat, and I got to see it finally at midnight, like by myself, basically. So everyone had already seen it twice, or they had watched my show. So that's how I got to see it. That was my one time of seeing The Force Awakens. And then, of course, the next time I said, don't put me in the lounge if there's not enough seats.
Right.
So yeah, I got to, and then the other ones I got to see just through on the fantasy, I think was the Rise of The Last Jedi, and I was like, yeah. And then the Rise of Skywalker, I got to see.
Yeah,
I don't even remember. Yeah, I think it was on the other ship that time too. And I was like, okay, just leave me alone. I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the Star Wars Day at Sea was fun. Yeah,
Yes.
they do really good. They do a really good job, I think, of giving you what you want. And before, they did a thing where you could just go see characters. You just get in line and go see characters, and that had to end quick because they were people like, well, my son didn't get to see Chewbacca and all this, and then oh gosh, I'm so sorry. So they made you. When you guys did it, you had to choose what you were going to go do.
There was a drawing or something. Yeah. I think I don't even think we chose.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I was like a child in a tantrum because I love like the dark side, right? Like
sure.
Boba Fett, Vader, that I love that. And Jerry's wife Kathy loves the droids like R2D2 and C3PO.
Yeah.
So we got tickets. They were put into your room, and these were the shows you had to go to, the character meets you had to go to, and it was a time. And I opened it up, and I have the droids. I'm like, I don't want to see these.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Kathy got Darth Vader. Yeah. And I'm like,
okay. Yeah.
So I was ripped. So I'm like, can we trade? So I'm trying to figure it out. So my wife's like, calm down. Let me go find out. And I'm just pacing. So she goes down to the help desk and they go, oh, no, honey. She goes, as long as one person in the party has a ticket, you can all go in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
So we all went to see Darth Vader. We all went to see the droids. We all went to see Boba Fett.
Well,
Chris wore his
Sith robes.
Yeah, totally.
And then went down and knelt in front of Darth Vader. I had pictures of it.
It was awesome. I had my lightsaber. Let me just say,
when she's going down there asking all these questions, we love you people on the cruises. No, it's funny because everybody's like, well, I got to do that. I go, here's the great part about being what I got to do, because I'm good friends with Natalie. Did you have Natalie as a cruise director? Was she? Do you remember from England?
Tisha, I remember Tisha.
Tisa was in the lounge.
In the lounge. That's
but
I forget who the cruise director was.
So I just call them and say, look, when you do your rounds, because they have to walk through everything, I'm just going to be with you. And they go, fine. So they have to walk in the back door of every character greeting. And then you just walk in and go, that's pretty cool. And then I just go check up and make sure everything's buckled and tied.
That's awesome.
So that's fun. Yeah, that was fun. And then, of course, they go, do you want a picture? I'm like, no way. That's the last thing. You don't want anyone to say, the comedian got to jump in front of everybody.
Yeah. Right.
So, but I've had, it's funny, because I've been so inundated with Star Wars. Oh, sorry, you were asking something else. You were about to ask something, and I jumped in.
Was it you or me, Chris?
I don't know. I was listening to the story.
No. Oh, so I've been so fortunate to do so many Star Wars things. It sounds funny, like really fortunate. Where I'm one of my dearest friends is Ashley Eckstein, who is the voice of Ahsoka Tano. I don't know if you know that.
Yep.
Who's so, but when so it was
he
so
know he's
funny.
talking to.
Yeah, no. When I did the fantasy one time, and Natalie was cruise director, and Ashley was the guest speaker for Star Wars Day at Sea. So Ashley, I'm on, and I'm like, yes, and we're so excited. And I tell Natalie, I said, you're going to do the Q&A with Ashley in the Buena Vista Theater. I said, would you mind? She said, would you do it? And I said, oh, of course. So I interviewed Ashley because we've known each other. I mean, forever. And she was on a show with me in LA. It was called Blue Collar TV, and it was like a sketch comedy show.
Yeah, I know it.
And Ashley was on it, and she said, Heath, I just got a job that you were going to love. I go, what? She said, they're making a new Star Wars cartoon. I'm like, are you sure they're making? Because this is before, no one really knew about it.
Right.
And,
right.
It's basically. Did you see? I'm sure you've watched The Mandalorian, guys. But Did you watch the gallery too? The making of The Mandalorian?
Yes.
I've watched some of it, yes.
Oh, gosh. But you need to see it. But Dave
Yeah.
Filoni talks about getting the call about we're making a Star Wars cartoon. And he's like, what? Because that was how it was. And so she has been such a dear friend, and we've done so many things. She actually, we went when the Clone Wars originally ended, like in, what was that, like 2008 or 9, the original.
Yeah,
that sounds right, yeah.
She said, she called my buddy Thomas and I, who are we've been Star Wars friends forever. She said, do you guys want to go to Skywalker Ranch and stay the night? She said, it will be with me and Jason Sorrell, who's another Disney Imagineer and a big guy in Star Wars. And you and Thomas, we'll just go stay in the bungalow. And then we're going to go to the Presidio, which is LucasArts, and watch the final 3 episodes with Dave Filoni and everybody. I'm like, and it was funny, and I know, but when I've been around, I go, let me check, but I think I want to do.
Let me check.
You're thinking, no, I'm not. This sounds, everything's relative, because you go, I can get out of town, but I don't want to miss an audition in case that's what your mind is. You're trying to make a living, but it turned out
absolutely.
I could go. And we went up, we flew up there, and we stayed in the bungalow, and they were actually shooting or doing the sound at Skywalker Sound on the campus, which is ridiculous. Like we go through the gates, they have your name on a list, they show you to your room, which is a little bungalow. And they were doing Oblivion with Tom Cruise. Do you remember that movie Oblivion with the sci-fi thing he did? Yep. So they were Skywalker Sound was doing that. So one day we just walked over to Skywalker Sound, and you just walk in because there's only a few people on campus at a time. And that was just magical, is walking through and hearing you would hear Tom Cruise go, "What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?" And they're editing the sound.
Yes.
Right? And we walked by one, we were in the bungalow great room, and there was a little fire going, sitting there, and some of the editors came back, and it was really funny from Oblivion. They go, "Hey, where are you guys from? Like you have news from the outside. Did you bring a newspaper?" Because they're sequestered there to do this movie.
Right.
We went there, then we said, well, let's go to the main house, which was what Lucas built for himself, like to live in before he moved. And you go in the main house, and there's it's really fun to see the historical of references, because there's a library there that looks like from the Last Crusade, when Indiana Jones is, it's this giant library, and there's books everywhere, and there's a big skylight, and you can go up, and every single book has something to do with birds of prey, military uniforms, anything that you would want before internet. So you would say, we've got to do a movie, and we need these costumes, and I want. So then you would go and you just pull books, and it was script writing stuff, yes, but references of every type of horse, creature, mythical beast. And so it was just really neat to go through and look at that, to see all of these things that they would have to do back in the 80s. They would say, you go and do research. You could
just pull your phone out and be like, beep.
Right. Yeah. That was really cool. And there's like a cafeteria in there. We ate in the cafeteria, and then we signed the guest book, I'm going to sign this. And we did that, and then we went to the Presidio, to LucasArts, and we went in and hung out with Dave a little bit, because Ashley's so sweet. She's just so giving with her time, and talked to him. And I've been fortunate. I got to do a movie in LA just by happenstance. I had done a movie with called it's so bad, called Kiss My Act. And Kiss My Act was a takeoff of the story of the Cyrano de Bergerac, where Roxanne, the movie Roxanne, where he's whispering what to say to woo the Daryl Hannah, Steve Martin. So this one was about Cameron Manheim, who is a great actress, who do you know who Cameron Manheim is? She was on The Practice for a little while.
Oh, anyway, I know The Practice.
Yeah. She had a movie deal. It was a movie of the week where she played a comedy club bartender who was telling the hot waitress girl material, and this girl goes all the way through to the Aspen Comedy Finals, and it's really the bartender's jokes, and then it's a love story kind of thing. So we played just the comedians around about. Well, just around, like the barfly comedians, my buddies and I. So then one of the producers, Irene Berg, starts to produce this movie called These Old Broads, which was Carrie Fisher wrote, and it starred Debbie Reynolds, Elizabeth Taylor, Joan Collins, and Shirley MacLaine as these old women. And it was the first time Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor had been together since the Eddie Fisher breakup, which was crazy, So they had been together. So she writes this movie, and I get called in to play this part because of Irene. And I go in, and Carrie Fisher's in the room. I'm like, holy cow, this is fantastic, and she's barefoot on the floor, sitting like this. And I get the job from this. She's like, you're great. And it's a small part, but I'm in the movie. And every day for 2.5 weeks, I'm sitting and having lunch with Carrie and just talking to her like a normal, like she doesn't know about this.
Right.
You can't tell them about this.
No.
Oh, I'm sure she's heard it.
Oh, yeah. It was so funny. But I told her one day, I said, Carrie, I love meeting Elizabeth Taylor and Joan Collins, Debbie Reynolds, and Shirley MacLaine. But the big thrill for me is meeting you. And I said, because, and she goes, I know, you were 11 and I was Princess Leia. I said, have you heard that before? She goes, many, many times. So the last day of the shoot, I say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take an action figure and I'll have her autograph the card, and I'll be a nerd, but last day of the shoot, I'll do it. I'll have it in my trailer, whatever. So I have it hidden there. And the last day, I go, okay, I'm gonna go get it. And I went to get my thing, and I came back out to get it. And her assistant goes, oh, she's already left for the day. And I'm like, oh no. He said, he said, she would have loved that. And so I said, well, it's no big deal. And he goes, no, she loves you and all this. And, I had her phone number. It was crazy. And so the next day, we have a wrap party coming up in 2 days. And the next day, there's a knock on my door in my LA apartment. I open the door. This courier's there with a package, and he gives it to me. So I open it, and then let me step out of the frame. So it's a picture. I'll try to hold it up here. You can kind of see.
Yeah.
But it's Carrie in the slave layout. But what it says is, Heath, remember when Heath, remember when I wore this and we had our night of love? This is then. Your wife, Carrie Fisher. So that was my cool Carrie Fisher thing. So
so
awesome.
So the crazy part is I go to the wrap party, and then she comes into the wrap party and she goes, "Did you love that?" I'm like, totally. So she was so sweet. And so when I say I got to go there, but I was like, I just was lucky enough to go through my life and be able to be around, like, holy cow. I feel like I'm going on way too long.
No, please.
But so my other Star Wars, because this is my only time I get to talk about this stuff. Another big Star Wars thing is I was dating a girl when I first got to LA in 1996 who was the talent booker for MTV, and the MTV Movie Awards were coming, and this is way back when, and Carrie Fisher's going to give, I don't know if you've ever seen this, was going to give Chewbacca the Medal of Yavin.
Yes.
She's going to give it to him.
Yeah.
So when that happens, my girlfriend, who is wrangling people, and at the time they were shooting Phantom Menace, was being shot.
Yep.
And so two of the presenters are Samuel L. Jackson and Ewan McGregor. So they are talking, and I'm standing behind my girlfriend, like, okay, so when are we going to meet him? And she's, okay, Sam, you're going to do this, and they're shaking. And they walk off, and I go, honey, if you have two Jedi talking, then you turn and say, would you like to meet my boyfriend? So she says, I do need your help. And she starts putting lanyards like backstage. I have everything. I'm like, what do you need? She said, would you be in charge? And she's not thinking this through, but she goes, would you mind just being the kind of the babysitter? Everybody has a babysitter of Peter Mayhew. I'm like, totally, that's great. So I go in the room, and it's Peter Mayhew and his wife, and he's getting his award, and he's got his Chewbacca pants on. And he's so sweet. I mean, he is so kind, and his wife is too. And he's and we talked a little bit, just about things. And I wasn't being fanboy, but it was just really special to do that. So then when they do the award, and you can find it on YouTube, when they give Chewbacca the award, and she goes, Chewbacca, and Carrie Fisher's going to hang it on his neck. He comes down the aisle, dun, 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 and everybody's going crazy. Because she said, do you want to do this? And she put me on the aisle, so you see me like.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're like.
So, yeah. And then it all kinds of comes together, because then Ashley is signing autographs everywhere at Comic-Con or Star Wars weekends, which was the big Disney World thing. So I would go with her and hang out. And Peter Mayhew's there. And I'm like, oh, Peter. I said, you won't remember this. And I'd tell him the story. He said, oh, we had so much fun. And he was just so kind. Like, it's just a neat thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's just been little things like that, little nuggets in my life where I've been like, I'm total fanboy out now, but I've just been fortunate enough to be in the right place, the right time, and know people who have been really sweet. So those are some of my super nerd Star Wars meetings.
I'm gonna love to listen to that story, the last part of that story later, because I tapped my thing, I hit my cord and it unplugged it, and I could see you guys still talking, and I'm like, no, no, and I can see Chris shaking his head, so he's still there. I'm just like, no.
Oh, that's great. That's hilarious. Yes. Oh,
I'm gonna enjoy that later.
Yeah, enjoy it later. Re-listen to it.
Yeah.
So if I look like I got a weird face during the part of it, that's why.
Yeah.
But no, that they were all so nice that you were
so nice.
Got to meet.
So, did you guys ever go to any of the Star Wars conventions, like in Indianapolis or Denver when they had those?
I want to, but we haven't.
Star Wars celebrations. Yeah, I went to that, and Carrie was one of the guests there.
Yeah.
And so she was coming in, and I just texted and said, "Hey, I'm here," and we started talking. She, what are you doing there? I was like, just my friend told me I should see this. Not trying to be super. And she said, well, we need some help. She said, would you mind if, now this is when they're shooting, and we're going to see footage of Attack of the Clones. Like that was this year, and at the Star Wars celebration in Indianapolis. So she said, would you mind grabbing, my assistant lost her pajamas, she lost her toothbrush, they lost everything. Would you go buy all this for her? And I have her on my phone, and my buddies are going, yes, you're going to do it. Yes, you're going to do it. You know, and I go, okay. So we go and we buy this girl we've never met all this pajamas and clothes. And she goes, I'm coming by your hotel. So we go by the hotel, and we're waiting on Carrie to pull up in this SUV. And she pulls up, she goes, Heath, Heath, Heath. And she's so sweet, you know, and she goes, thank you so very much. I go, yeah. She comes in the hotel lobby. And so when she does that, people are like, oh my God. And they start coming. She goes, we got to get the hell out of here. So it was her first convention ever that she'd ever done, like for Star Wars. Yeah, and so she went and got in the van, and she gave all my buddies autographs, you know, which was really sweet. And she said, come to my autograph thing tomorrow. I said, okay. So we go to her autograph thing, and she's got a line that is the longest I've ever seen, because it's her first signing ever of Star Wars stuff, ever, unless you just knew her and had her to sign something. People lined up. So we go in the back, and I'm like, hey, and she goes, oh, let Heath come in. Now then, there's a guy that's been waiting his whole life to meet her, and then he's been waiting 6 hours in line, and she's at a chair, but he's trying to talk to her. She's not paying attention to him because I'm standing behind her, and she's got her hands in my hair. She's going, hee, 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 hee.
Oh, no.
And this guy's like going, I'm going to kill you. And he's looking at me like, and I go, pay attention to him, you know, and she signs the thing. So she says to me, we're going to get lunch after this. Do you want to go to eat lunch? And I'm standing there, my buddy's like, yeah. Well, I go, but I don't. Now you're becoming a little annoying because I want to go, I want to see Rick McCallum talk about Attack of the Clones is what I want to see. But now I'm stuck into going to lunch with Carrie. You know, but we went and had lunch. It was great. You know, it was fun. But
of course.
That was one of like 3 or 4 times that I've run into her. And like we've had these little fun things. So yeah, it was just crazy. Yeah.
I went to, it was years ago up in Montreal, and it was, they did basically, it was like a Star Wars show. They built, like at the time, it was like the largest HD TV. And it was and Anthony Daniels was the MC of it, and they traveled around, and we caught him in Montreal, and it was amazing. I dragged my wife, who is not like a huge Star Wars fan at all, but she loves me, and she went and ended up loving it. And it was like the Philharmonic Symphony. They had this big symphony doing the score, John Williams.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
I saw this in LA. It was called it's when they had lasers involved.
Oh yeah,
like
they had special effects and lasers, and they had the giant HD screen. With portions of the movies. Put to the scores by the symphony done live.
Yes, I totally forgot I saw that. But we did it too. But it's great. No.
That's my one moment. I'm sorry.
No. I don't mean that in a bad way.
I know.
Like, but I'm telling you, when you are in Los Angeles and so many things like that, like we go, hey, do you want to go see this? Do you want to go see this? We went to see like Star Wars, and George Lucas did a Q&A before the thing. And so, but you know, you're thinking, oh my gosh, my buddy, my biggest, I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan. And we went to the Tonight Show when he was first going to do Crystal Skulls, when he had first signed on to do that. And Jay Leno was like, do you just don't know how to do the bullwhip? You know, and so we were in the audience, like, because my buddy knew someone at Universal, NBC, and said, do you guys want to go to the show? Yeah. You know, it's funny because you forget about those things. You really do, because it's just, we're super nerds, and we have so much stuff that you say, oh yeah, I don't have that piece. I thought I did, but maybe I just saw it. Yeah. So.
Well, and the thing is, I mean,
awesome.
When you're in LA, it's completely different than, Vermont.
Yeah,
just saying.
No, really, it is. And Birmingham, and I would go to LA and go, oh, I can't tell you how many times I missed where they would say, John Williams is directing the LA Philharmonic with all this movie stuff. And you go, nobody told me that. Like, you just, you forget, you just, there's so much happening so often that you just get stuck. You just don't know. You can't do everything. So.
Oh no, I can imagine. You gotta. Plus, you gotta work. You gotta.
Yeah. That's another part of it. To try to get another cruise and whatever. Yeah.
But
my wife made me
yeah.
promise to ask you this question, and whether this airs on our podcast is dependent on your answer.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode of Star Wars?
Well, I'm very partial. I'm very partial to A New Hope, just because that was what started it for me. I mean, you have to. Then
okay, Kathy, we can post it.
Yeah. That's great. So, and then of course, I just like the classic. My whole room is 1977 to 84, 85 is just what was my time. So anything in that era, and like I know one of our emails went back and forth, was The Mandalorian has just blown my mind at what they have done. As fan service, it has been amazing. So
absolutely love it. Absolutely.
They worried me a little bit. They worried me a little bit with the Boba Fett, because I was like, I was gonna go rip shit. If they made him not be a Mandalorian, I'm like, how he started the entire thing, people.
Yeah, right.
But then they redeemed themselves.
When I saw Tamura Morrison on that one shot when the speeder bike goes by and he turns around, I was on my knees in front of the TV, like, what? Oh my God, this is going to be the greatest thing. And you try to explain it to people who aren't big fans, or like my wife or my sister. Even I told her to watch it. My sister, you have to know, she grew up with me, so she knows everything. I mean, she by osmosis, she knows everything. Like, and she got it, but there were some things where she was, like she didn't know why Tamura Morrison was significant in that shot, because she said, no, that's Boba Fett because he's a clone, and he, that's Daniel Logan grew up, and that's what he's supposed to look like because that's what's payment. So it's all this super nerdy stuff that I knew that you have to explain to people. Like, I did. It's fun to talk to someone who is like my brother. Excuse me, my brother-in-law is a huge fan. We got to, talk that stuff. So that was fun.
Yeah. No, when we were watching it, when the guy's telling the story about when he's in the Jawa scavengers, and I saw it hanging, the armor, I was like, Boba Fett!
Yeah.
This is Boba Fett, dude! You don't understand. And the wife's like, yeah. It's huge.
I know.
So
that's fantastic.
When did you see A New Hope in the theater when it came out? Or?
Yeah, here's I'm gonna be in April. I'll be 50. So crazy. So I was 7 years old, 1977, and my mother took me in classic. It's probably to this day why I'm never trying to be late. My mother took me late, and think of this: as a 7-year-old, you go into the movie, and the first thing I see is Luke is coming down the stairs. And he goes, "They're not permitted in here. You're droids. They'll have to wait outside." And I'm in the cantina. That's my first thing. I'm sitting down like, what is this? And so I don't know who Luke is. And my first hero is Han Solo shooting first, and doing this. And then, so we watched the whole movie. And this is back in the 70s. And my mother goes, "We're just going to stay for the beginning to see what we missed." So the usher comes down and goes, "Hey guys, we have a line." My mother, "No, we came late. We're going to watch it again." Sorry,
You're not leaving.
Yeah. That Southern, like, "We're gonna watch it again." Sorry. And so he's like, "All right, that's Alabama for you." And I'm like, "I'm not with her." You know what I'm saying? I'm 7, and we stayed to the cantina, and she goes, "You want to go?" And I was like, "No." And I sat through it again. So I got to see the whole thing again, and that way I was just like, "Oh my gosh," my brain was just shooting, and. I mean, as you know, maybe as a Star Wars collector, that a lot of stuff wasn't available. There was nothing available because they didn't know it was going to be huge.
Right.
And I remember, Christmas, like waking up, like, "Oh, I didn't ask Santa Claus for the cantina." Like, what am I going to do? I asked him for too much. So the playing that, just living it and reading everything there was about it, and that was A New Hope was probably what just blew it up for me. And of course, The Empire Strikes Back, was even better. I remember things about that. I don't necessarily remember going to see in the theater, The Empire Strikes Back? I know I did, but I remember my buddy in the neighborhood, my mother said, he's going to see it, so don't get any information. And I said, we can play, but I don't want you to tell me anything about it. And he said, I won't tell you anything about it, but they froze Han Solo, is what he said to me. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I'm not going to tell you, but they froze it. So then I'm like, oh, man. So I watched the movie. I go to see it. And we're at Hoth. Now, think about this. As a 9-year-old now, we're in Hoth. And I go through Hoth. And they leave. But he's not frozen. Right? And I go, I see Luke hung upside down. And I go, he meant Luke. They froze Luke because he's, and I'm trying to put this together. I've never heard the word carbonite. I don't know what he means freezing. So then he leaves. And I go, of course he's wrong. He's totally fine. They've left Hoth. They're not frozen.
Life's good.
Yeah. So that probably helped me to get to the, oh, he's frozen in that. So, and basically, let me turn my camera here. And basically, I don't know if you can you see the door?
Yes. Very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that. So that's my closet door over there. My ring light. My Kardashian light. So yeah, that was the thing where I just said, oh, he was wrong. They didn't freeze him, but they did with carbonite. So yeah, I remember that, and I remember thinking, is he? As a kid, you go, is he going to come back? What's going to happen? And then I've talked to her on Facebook. Cindy Cindy Hood was a girl Star Wars fan, which back in the 80s was so hard to find. And she would get magazines, was what her thing was. And she had like a People or an Us magazine that had the cast standing in indoor, like, in front of that big Sequoia National Forest thing. Yep. And, Han Solo's with his trench coat. I'm like, oh, thank God. He's in the movie. Yeah. So that's how I found out he was in it, because you didn't know. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You didn't know. There was no internet.
No.
Yeah.
Well, a guy that used to, one of the PMs at my job, he was moving around and packing some stuff, and he found a 1980 something version of Luke Skywalker from Jedi original figure, and he gave it to me. I was just
sweet.
wow, this is so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Growing up, I had all the toys, or most of them. I had that Vader case with all the figures in it, and I had the Millennium Falcon and the X-Wing and a TIE fighter. And as I got older, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. I have one of those.
100% complete with the elusive Jedi training ball. It's very hard to find. So yeah, this is what I do. This has been. I tell you one thing about the whole pandemic has been great for collectors, because people, what they did is they went through their attic when they were bored, and they got everything out. And there has been an inundation of Star Wars stuff online, like so much so that it blew up, and that has been great. I had and I started looking at that. That's how I've tried to make some ends meet, is I've been selling stuff online. Like I started doing eBays with 80s, 70s, and 80s toy memorabilia. And I know a lot about a little bit of stuff. And that's 80s toys, man. 70s and 80s toys. I can tell you about it. So that's what has been going on with us, is I was just, okay, I'll find this at a thrift store, or find that, or someone has a collection for sale, and I go cherry pick some stuff. Yeah. So that's been great. Yeah.
What's your most prized piece out of your collection that you have?
Let me see if my wife's here.
I'm not sure she's part of a collection.
Yeah. No, I don't want her to know I've spent my – no. So the thing is, there are different things for me. Like, there are things that I cherish because they were mine, because most of this stuff was my childhood. Oh, low power mode. I hope we can stay with this. Hold on. Can you see me?
Now I can.
Okay, so we're on low power mode. I hope we stay there. I may have to unplug and just plug in the camera. So most of this stuff was mine as a child. Like, I've kept it. I have kept it pristine. So, like, if I spin this around, you'll see. See if you can see that there's the cantina.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. But does it? So that was Christmas gift when I was a kid. That's my original Balkan. That's my original, X-Wing fighter. So that's my original troop transport back there. That's my original, Death Star that is right there.
Awesome.
So these are special in those ways. But then there are more valuable pieces, like this is something that I wanted. I'm gonna try to get this back in here, and maybe I'll have to unplug and just do it. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So stuff like I always thought this was cool. This a fan club jacket, 1980, which was for probably a 10-year-old kid, and it's the Beck and Luke jacket. So it's got the Empire Strikes Back. So you could only get this through the fan club. Stuff like that is just it's so it's so neat to me to own or to find, and that's something I found from a collection. You got you guys don't remember that cereal we grew up with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it had the toys in the back, and so this was stuff that there are valuable pieces, like really stuff I've never sell, but I don't know if you can see there's a Tatooine skiff down there.
Yep.
Which is probably the hardest thing to find because it came out in 1985.
Sure.
And I went to a lady's house. My buddy said, he said, I was at an estate sale, and she had on a loose leaf sheet of paper, "Do you love Star Wars? I will be selling some stuff soon." And he gave her this was in July of the pandemic, okay? Yep. July. He gave her his information, and she emailed him in October and said, I'm ready to start, selling my stuff. It's my stuff. Now, he said, I have a buddy who's going to want to see it. What is it? She said, it's all 70s and 80s, and it's all mostly in the package.
Wow.
I hear that stuff all the time. I go, okay, we're going to, find it's going to be a Darth Maul piggy bank or something. It's going to be something that I go, yes, it's in the package, but it's nothing. So I go, or he sends me your email, says, can my buddy come? Because I can't go. Can he come in my place? She said, sure. She goes, I'll let you come early to my Star Wars sale. I show up at this lady's house, and I'm first. I showed up early, like 20 minutes early. And I walk into her. She's very sweet, very timid librarian lady. She's exactly my age. And she was, when I said, a girl Star Wars fan. She loved it. When I say she had pristine, in the package stuff from 1970s and 80s, I was shocked. I'm looking at it like I've never held some of it, like that Tatooine skiff. I've never held. I said, oh my gosh, there's an Ewok battle wagon down there, which I thought I'll never get that because they're like 900 to 1,000. Those things right there, if you find one in that good a shape, graded, it's going to be $2-3 grand. Oh. And so I just started saying, she did her research. Like, she knew what things were worth.
Yeah.
I said, I cannot pay what's on the sticky note there. Like, I get it. I said, it's great. I said, but I'll take this and this and this, and we'll try to bundle stuff. And this was her jacket she wore to school. Like, that was her thing. She had figures in the package. She had, I have a land speeder, a dewback. Like, she had all these things from her childhood that were still in perfect condition. And I said, why is it like this? And she said, well, when I got a little older, which was almost to high school, she said, I still love Star Wars, but people would buy it for me, and I didn't want to play with it. So I thought, maybe I'll just leave it in the package and it'll be worth something someday, is what she said. And it had been sitting in her mother's attic for 40 years. And it's pristine. And so a lot of the stuff I was like, yes. And stuff I didn't think I would ever own. So those kind of finds is what really, that's that kind of, when you get on stage and you get to do a show, that's replaced that for me, is to go, oh, it's called a wild find. And I found that. I found figures from people that say, yeah, they're just my old toys. I want to get rid of them. And you go, okay, I'll take them. It's great.
Jerry, tell what happened to your Star Wars toys.
So, as I
love these stories.
I had quite a few. I had the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter.
It's either wait. It's either garage sale, mom threw them away, firecrackers, or BB gun. Which one?
Nope. Actually, you didn't get any of them. You were very close on one. So, one year, I'm older. Mom and dad are like, you don't play with your Star Wars stuff. How about you give it to your Uncle Mark for your cousin Marky, because he really likes Star Wars. And he's getting into it. And I'm like, sure, yeah, no worries. You know, thinking it's in the family at least, no big deal. The next year, I'm talking to him and I'm like, hey, how's Marky like, you know, the Star Wars stuff? Oh, he didn't play with it. We threw it all away. I went,
Yeah.
you didn't even think to ask me if I wanted it back.
Yeah. I know. It's seriously, it's that phrase, one man's trash. You know?
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
it's
it's funny because he had most of the Star Wars figurines. And see, we were into Transformers and
whoa,
Star
whoa,
Wars.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What did you just say? What
Oh,
word did you use with Star F?
Transformers.
Figure what?
Figurines?
No. Figurines?
Figures, Star Wars figures. Action figures, dolls. I've heard them called that.
Okay. Plastic crack. Yeah.
See, I get that all the time. Oh, go play with your dolls.
Yeah.
But so
figurine, come on.
We had to divide and conquer.
Are from Tennessee Williams Glass Menagerie.
But we had to divide and conquer because the stuff was expensive. So we're like, okay, you ask for Star Wars, I'll ask for Transformers. So that.
Yeah. Well, I had Transformers too.
You were a rich kid.
Decepticons. You had the Decepticons. I had the Autobots. So you know, we kind of.
Oh, I found. It's funny you mentioned. I've had to learn about Transformers because I found some. This will impress you. Some G1 Transformers that were in a thrift store bag, and so I would buy them, and I have to go through them. And being almost 50, trying to do a Transformer, I'm like, why do you have to pull it out? There's no need for that. You know, I'm going like what was Starscream or something. You have to turn his head.
Yeah,
back,
you got to pull up and spin it under. Goes through the chest.
But there was like two faces on one of them.
Yeah,
like they had two, and I think it was the blue fire truck, the baby blue fire truck, which was Blade or. But anyway, I found that, and it would come. It would build up. There were two heads. I'm like, why are there two? It makes I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I've sold those. That's been some of the stuff that I would find and sell online. Because there's a huge. That's huge. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle huge.
Yeah.
He-Man. Any of that stuff in the 80s is really big. I didn't know about. I was late.
You want to see your head explode? Try to put together the Decepticons. To make
no, the Constructicons.
Constructicons, sorry. Yeah.
I did not get into Transformers because they were after, but like G.I. Joe had just come out when I was on my tail end of Star Wars. So it was the G.I. Joes, and I thought those were cool. And then of course Transformers seemed to be after that. Then Ninja Turtles. And I was working in a toy store back in Alabama before I went to Auburn, and that's when Ninja Turtles first hit. And that was that, and also Thundercats had just hit. Those were the big.
Know.
Yep.
Yeah. I knew about those things, man. Just because.
Well, we're all about the same age. I mean, Chris, you'll be 50 in July, right?
24. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I'll be 49 in May, so we're all the same generation.
Yep. Yeah. I still have all my Transformers, actually.
Me too. Me too.
Great. Yeah.
Those didn't go to Cousin Mark.
Yeah. Don't even let Cousin Mark breathe on that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shift over here, so hopefully you can still hear me.
So, on the contrary to while he's doing that, on the contrary to your favorite item, is there an item, Star Wars piece that you don't have that you kind of coveted that you wish you had?
It was that skiff until I got that, which is crazy. But there are pieces that I've been really fortunate in some finds. Like I've got almost every single thing out here because I'm a big Indiana Jones fan too. So I've got everything Indiana Jones I have over here. That's I don't know if you can see with the ring light here.
Oh yeah.
And everything's carded and everything's in a case from everything from 1981 to 85 or maybe 87. So I've got all of that too. So that was big. But as far as a piece I don't have, there's like the Holy Grail pieces, which would be like the vinyl Cape Jawa or something like that I'll never get. I will never get them because those are like $2-3 grand. Well, I say that, but I I got that. So,
Yeah, you did.
you know, it could something like that, or there's another one called a double telescoping Luke, and it just means as we were kids, the lightsaber came out of his wrist and it just went out. Well, this one went out and then it pulled out like an antenna even more. And I found one in a lot of figures, and I spent like $80, and it's worth about $400 or $500. So
that's awesome.
That was a good find. But yeah, I don't know what it would be if I had to put something like, oh, I must get this now, because I've been very fortunate to find what I wanted. So
absolutely. Well, this is one of Chris's pride and joys.
let me see.
It's over his barroom table. Is his Han and Carbonite?
Oh, let me see.
Can't you see it?
No, I don't. He has to talk, I think, to make him light up.
Oh, you got it on. I don't.
He's away from your mic. Oh, you might have to switch your view to gallery view. I don't know if you're doing it from a phone. He might not be able to see you.
Got it, gallery. Oh yeah. So we have the similar thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I built that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So yeah, and I know I'm from Vermont, so we Patriots. So sorry. But yeah, so I put like little LEDs around the side of it and stuff.
Yeah. Now is your control panel, is that a Volvo dash?
No, it's actually made out of plastic and wood. I'm a kind of an amateur woodworker, so I kind of did it and painted it.
Bullshit, yeah.
I also created Boba Fett cosplay.
Oh, sweet.
Oh yes, Chris. Let's tell him about that.
Did you? I see your brisk teeth. R2D2 too. So did you buy the armor 501st or
no? I actually made the armor. The only thing I bought on it was the helmet
and the razor blades.
So
yeah, let's tell Heath about that.
So when I first originally had done this one, took it downtown. My wife's like, nobody's even going to know who you are. You spent months building this thing, blah, blah, blah. Like 30 seconds on Church Street, kids like, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
You know, I had a trail of kids and it was awesome. Yeah. But so Jerry had at the time a girlfriend who was into Star Wars, and he's like, she's having a dress up party. So, you know, like a cosplay
Star Wars themed
party. Yep. Star Wars themed. And he's like, you got to come. And I said, all right. Because I also had Vader at the time. And so,
nice.
Yeah, he wore my Vader outfit, and I wore the Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett's original gauntlet has the rocket on it,
right
on the right side. So I had created and built a rocket, and I couldn't have anything. I couldn't find anything great for the fins, so I ended up using razor blades for the fins on the rocket, and I cut them. What could go wrong?
Right.
Yeah, he's having me help him, and you can see, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
So as he was dressing me, he cut himself like
things
3 times.
I love that.
I'm bleeding like a stuck pig, and I'm like, dude, you can't wear this out. You're gonna kill somebody.
You're gonna kill somebody. Oh man, that is funny. Well, I'm impressed. That's really good cosplay, man.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's really yeah, it's I can't even remember. Actually, our friend Craig gave me some of the stuff, and it's this plastic that if you heat it up, it's moldable, and then when it cools down, it stays in that shape.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just was using boiling water and cut it out and bent them and painted them all myself and everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the footnote on the Nest T, what was it? Brisk R2D2. My wife actually won that in a raffle at. Yes, the Brisk Iced Tea was having a raffle, and if you won, you got to take home the display, and we had it, but we're like, we got nowhere to put it. So we gave it to Chris to share. So since he had his bar room full of Star Wars stuff, we figured, that'd be a place for it.
Perfect. On a similar design, I think they got that from this, this was something I looked for forever, which was the R2D2 toy toter, which is it's a toy box. And so this came out in '83. This came out in '83, and it's very similar to that. And I always said, that's something I really, really wanted because you kids put their toys in it. in the 80s. So I have a love those brisk things. I've never owned one of those. So you built your Han and Carbonite. I did too. Did you buy it online and put the pieces together?
The only thing on that entire thing I bought online was the face.
Oh, you did? You molded the hands and everything?
Yeah, the hands, the feet, the shirt, the pants. I did all with actual clothes and spray foam.
Fantastic.
And and then I poured glue in and spray painted that. And
yep.
Yeah, it came out pretty cool.
Did you do the Elmer's glue puddles for the Carbonite? Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So, Jerry, talk amongst yourself. Yeah.
So, don't let him fool you, man. He is wicked talented. He's, well, my wife and I, an amazing, we still have it, our hope chest in front of our bed. It's just beautifully built. I mean, he's just so talented. He's got all the tools to make things. He's built our, I had him build me a headboard for our bed. He made.
Is that it behind you?
Yeah. And a coffee table. So he's very good with woodworking. And we actually had a Star Wars for his sister-in-law. We had was her 40th birthday, and we did a Star Wars Day themed birthday party. So that's when he built the Han and Carbonite and all of that. Right, Chris?
Yeah,
I'm going to check my battery real quick to make sure we're
Chris,
okay.
Check your mic, because I think you're very low in volume.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
No. Chris is.
No, me.
Well, I can't figure out how to check the volume here.
No, you're fine, Heath. We can hear you fine. Chris is just muffled.
Yeah, so if my phone just dies, I don't have my charger in here.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, the one last question I did want to ask, this is kind of my thing, is what are your inspirations, whether it be for your comedy, your routines? Well, who are your inspirations, or what inspires
good question.
That?
Yeah, when I remember when I was probably 8 years old, I was watching TV with my folks, and I saw Red Skelton, who's a very old school.
Love him. Skelton.
Yeah, and so I saw this guy, and I was laughing when I was 8 probably. And then I remember seeing when I was 18, and right out of high school, about to go to college, and it was on television. I was like, oh, I remember this as a kid. And I laughed. And at that moment, I said, there's something really special about someone that can make an 8-year-old and an 18-year-old laugh at the same time. So I kind of devoted the idea of character work and props and just being overall goofy, if you will, to that genre. People like Danny Kaye, Bob Nelson, I absolutely loved when he was.
Yes, so much. We love Bob Nelson.
Yeah.
Did you see his show? He had an HBO special, Nelson Schmelson.
Of course.
I have it on. I had recorded it on VHS, and I transferred it to DVD. I actually have it.
Here's a funny thing. He came to the Birmingham Comedy Club, and I was such a fan. And I said, I've got to meet him. I've got to meet him. I've got to meet him. And he actually had a tour bus that parked out back. And it's a big comedy club. So my manager, who was the owner of the comedy club, says, I got this kid. He really wants to meet you. And I went in, and I was just kind of talking to him. He was so calm. He just made time for me. I was like, you've just been such an inspiration. And I said, I got some questions because this guy, and I was talking about people that wanted to represent me. And he said, whatever the percentage is, let's just say it's 15%. Because you're like, 15%? And he said, 15. He goes, how much are you making now without working? And I was like, oh, low battery. Stand by.
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah. He said, how much are you making now? And I was like, nothing. He said, well, 15% of zero is still zero. I'm like, you're right. So, why not? So he was really nice, which I loved. And so I just spoke with him for a little bit, but he was a big inspiration. And then there's people that I would see, which I call it, as a comedian, you call it creative jealousy. When you don't necessarily laugh, you go, oh, man.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, totally. And a lot of those people at the Comedy Store and in Los Angeles, I would see, I'd be like, oh, that is such a good bit. So there was a lot of that. Of that. People, especially if you watch the Comedy Store documentary, you'll see a lot of those guys where you're just saying, I've never heard of this guy, but he's hilarious. And Jim Carrey, big fan, obviously, of him. So those are people that I really admired and liked to watch and stuff. I just got to ask real quick, what did you think of the Super Bowl, Chris, about that?
It was crazy. I mean, I was happy for him. Like,
sure.
I mean, how can you not? I mean, the guy got us 6 championships. Like, go do whatever you want to do,
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean,
let's get back
pretty
to
much cemented. He's the GOAT.
Yep. Oh my goodness. No.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Heath.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Giving us your time.
I enjoyed it. I had so much going on since March.
Right. No, we really.
So what I'll do? I'm going to send you guys. I'll send you guys once I get this whole thing edited through the people wherever they are. I'll send you the link for that comedy special.
Yeah,
Love to hear your thoughts on it. See what it's like. Because I watch myself, I'm like, oh God, you suck.
No, not at all.
No, but I know what you're feeling because I remember Jerry's like, "Hey, do a podcast. It'll be fun."
Yeah, we had a little bit of a slow start. We really had to, it took like 4 episodes before we really kind of got comfortable with just talking to each other while it was being recorded.
Yeah, we were like, "Hey,
if you watch it, don't watch the first 4 episodes. Start at 5."
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I hope to see you guys on the sea sometime. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
You have to keep in touch.
Thanks again so much, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, and send me the link when you get it all together. When you are about to, post it or whatever, and then I'll put it out.
That would be wonderful. We really appreciate that. Hey, one last thing. I'm sure you've seen it, and I just forgot Adawan cuts. Have you seen the Adawan cuts of Star Wars?
Oh, where they take away what it really should.
Yeah, they improve upon it. It's the Adawan cut, and they fix the defects, and like the lightsabers don't disappear when they cross and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Have you seen that guy that did the Vader Obi-Wan Kenobi fight from in the Death Star, where he cuts it in?
No, I don't think I have.
You got to look that up.
Yeah.
I was blown away. Like what he did, he's a movie maker, and he takes it when he runs out. When Obi-Wan comes up to him, and he takes his lightsaber out, and he knows Darth Vader's near, and he took there and he cut there and did a little bit, but he got 2 actors in costume and built a set, and they do like a badass Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight. Like you would go, holy cow!
That sounds familiar. I think I might have seen that.
Yeah, it's been going around. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's a lot. So check it out.
Yeah, it's amazing what fans can do. Like,
I've seen cats with lightsabers going at it. I mean, there's talented people, much more talented than I. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh,
well, hey,
amazing.
we really appreciate it. You spent,
I love it.
So much time with us, and it was such a pleasure. Thanks so much
appreciate it
for spending time with us, and
tell cousin Mikey or Marky or whatever we're coming for.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you son of a beep.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I shouldn't do that.
But we definitely look forward to the day where we can see you in live performance again, Heath.
Yeah,
absolutely. That'd be great. Me too. So did the wife. So
yes. We'll be there to support you.
News in the pandemic. We're having a kid in June. Another kid.
Yes. I loved how you posted that. I love how you posted that. Mommy and Daddy didn't social distance.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, I was like, okay, like this room will mean something.
Yes.
Until I come in and find him playing with something.
Dragging him out.
Having that discussion about why you can't play with toys is difficult.
I know. Well, the good thing is I have enough that I'll give Lily, my daughter, some stuff. I go, just go ahead for it. Just let her play with this stuff. Because it is toy. I have to keep telling they're plastic. It's toys.
Yeah. They were meant to be played with.
But some of them.
They were meant to provide joy.
Yeah. The problem is they weren't built to last 45 years. Right. They were built to be for the movie and stuff. Yeah. So that's where you run into the, don't break it. But because I can't go down and buy a new one. But,
Yeah, right. You get Generation 5 or 10 or whatever we're up to.
Yeah, I think you can have the one that came with a Happy Meal.
Yeah, there you go. Here you go.
Yeah.
Have fun. Go crazy.
You get the one at the bottom of the cereal box that looks nothing like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, please tell the ladies I said hello, and
absolutely.
I know that they're dealing with a lot. Tell them
They're stuck with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, yes, absolutely. Hey, thanks so much again, Heath.
No problem, man. I enjoyed it.
We will
stay safe. Give our best to your family.
Yes,
I will, man. Thank you. Send me the link, man.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Talk later.
Bye.
Well, that was pretty awesome. I got to say, having Heath on was absolutely amazing. Not just because he's even probably more of a geek in Star Wars than I am, but just because he's so giving and kind. I just remember when we first met him, Jerry just was like, "Hey, Heath." He's like, "Hey, what?" And he let us take his picture and everything.
I'm not bashful.
And so, and it's just we've remained in contact with him through Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, I've been friends for a while.
Again, a huge congratulations to him on the new one coming.
Yes.
Hope him and his family stay safe through this challenging time, as we talked a little bit about. But it was just awesome, especially since we were able to keep Jerry from talking through actually part of the podcast. It was awesome.
You guys.
But again, just a huge shout out and thank you to Heath. Can't thank him enough. Had such a blast doing it, talking about Star Wars.
Yep.
And a lot about Heath. I got to know a lot about his backstory that we'd never heard before. So hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did, and please follow Heath. I think he gives his
HeathShow.com. For the audio listeners who might not be watching it, because obviously I'm going to put plugs in, but for those of you listening, it's the HeathShow.com. Jeff, definitely check it out. He's really funny.
Awesome. So looking forward to a future episode. Probably going to do one on a cruise episode.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick one of our favorite cruises and discuss it in detail and go over that. But hey, big shout out. Hopefully we still got our fan in Germany, and statistic wise, we're across the U.S. now. So hey,
right?
Congratulations to us.
Yeah, go us.
But in all seriousness, thank you all for listening and joining us. And again, like Jerry said, you can follow us on TwoPitTalkPodcast.com or Two Pit Talk Podcast on Facebook. Search it. Can find us easily.
Yes, sir.
Till next time.
Excellent.
Bye, Two Pit.
Bye, Two Pit. Your poker table, because Trisha was working out that right there, but that's the last I remember.
Oh, okay. So we're way out of touch. See, this problem. We're doing podcasts. We're not talking anymore.
Somebody done make it last week and didn't bother talking to me until after the Super Bowl. I'll call you tomorrow. His tomorrow probably is a lot bigger, longer than my tomorrow.